Is it really over? If not, what may come next? Does it come here or just abroad? We have two people who really know the region and the realities. Next. All right, this talk that Iran may have intentionally missed U.S. forces is being downplayed tonight by top Pentagon leaders. Now, you may remember last night I kept talking to everybody about this because it's so hard to accept that they could be that targeted, that they would have that type of benign interest. The defense secretary is backing up the top U.S. general, Mark Milley, in his assessment that Iran did intend to kill American personnel. So, what does that mean as a window into their intentionality, and what does it tell us about what may come next? Let's bring in State Department veterans Aaron David Miller and Nayyera Haq. First, thank you very much for last night, and thank you for now. I was questioning a lot about this last night. Do they have the capabilities? Can you really come close but miss? And why would they do that? Now, we had a flood of people saying, yeah, it could have been that. Now they're backing off. Nayyera, do you think it is unlikely that they shot missiles 800, 900 miles hoping to miss?
Listen, I think they were looking to resolve this most immediate cycle of escalation, and that was to target American infrastructure in Iraq. It's the first time that we've seen the Iranian government actually cross the border that way versus the proxies that we're used to them seeing. So I think that was a very intentional way of doing it, and it's a good thing, frankly, that there was no loss of civilian or loss of life. I think that makes a huge difference and allowed both sides to kind of step back and take a moment to save face and with both of their publics. With that said, this is Iran is going to serve revenge as a cold dish. They are in this for the long haul. Losing Qasem Soleimani is a very big deal for them, and this is we should be expecting that there will be further activity throughout the region, and that'll be in the form of either cyber attacks, either something the proxies that they have, these militia groups that they claim they don't have direct control over, could be oil infrastructure for our allies, or even worst case scenario, the Al-Quds force that Soleimani used to train and head. They have shown capabilities of having civilian attacks and taking out targets in Europe and throughout Africa. So clearly something that needs to be monitored over the next several months, because again, this is part of a pattern of behavior for Iran. They may have resolved this one moment, but they're still in it for the long haul.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't have another example of them shooting to miss. And they did put out there that they're contemplating attacking here at home as well. What is that to do to inspire people who want to impress these malefactors, lone wolves, and et cetera? Now, ADM...
Well, it's certainly they do not want a conventional war. That does not put them on the right footing. So the idea of like missile attacks on air bases and then we bring in air assault, that does not play to their advantage.
I get it. I get it. It's just I don't buy this, ADM, that they missed on purpose. And I also don't buy how the Ayatollah is satisfied with this. Thank God no U.S. troops and nobody else, for that matter, was hurt. But I just don't buy that they were trying to miss, which is why I kept asking. Now, in your tutoring, you said, this is over. It is not over. Why not? The foreign minister said, we're good, we're good.
Well, that's the foreign minister, Chris. The Soleimani file is very much still open. I mean, arguably the second most powerful, important man in Iran, close to the supreme leader. No, this file is open, and the Iranians have just begun. Nayyera makes a good point. You know, we measure our lives, or I do, in terms of administrations. They think in terms of generations. And this, frankly, is the long game, and it's their neighborhood. And nobody wins. The president talks about victory. Nobody wins in the Middle East. I mean, the region's littered with the remains of great powers who wrongly believe they could impose their will on smaller ones. We're just the latest to arrive, and it's not our neighborhood, and they have a lot of asymmetrical advantage, and we're going to begin to see it.
How so, in terms of what killing Soleimani meant as a catalyst to what you believe comes next? Connect the dots.
Well, I just don't think that the administration had an objective and a set of aspirations tethered to a strategy. And the reality is the Iranians enjoy advantages of geography, history, demography, particularly in Iraq, where we are now, frankly, disadvantaged. A 17-year-old investment, thousands of American lives, scores of thousands of Iraqi lives, $1 trillion expended, and we're now on a back foot in large part because the Iranians managed to change the channel. And I think that's just the beginning. You had Andy McCabe on last night talking about cyber. He's already picking up indications that we need to be extremely vigilant. And I don't think the Iranians have even started what it is they intend to do.
But the counter is, Nayyera, to bring you back in, is no. Iran is really bad. Nobody had sent the right message. Sanctions isn't enough. Obama gave them back the money. The deal was a joke. So we punched them right in the face, took out one of their big guys. Trump's no joke. That's why the foreign minister said shooting and missing is good enough. This helped.
That's a very easy Middle East word salad to toss at the American public when they're not really tracking how things work in the Middle East on the day-to-day, right? The 2015 marker, really when it goes back to 2003 with the United States invasion of Iraq, the continued destabilization of the region with the civil war in Syria, in which Iran is on the wrong side. You have the civil war in Yemen, all of this, and now fast forward to the administration having made this really consequential decision without any evidence of a cost-benefit analysis of why now.
He's a bad guy. He's killed Americans in the past. He wants to kill more.
He's been a bad guy for a while. If you're going to take him out, do it in a way that the public, or at least Congress, is aware there's a longer-term plan. You have an end game in sight, and you have everything positioned in the region. Unfortunately, it was done in a way in which now the Iraqis are not willing to cooperate and work with us. The Countering ISIS campaign, in which we were actually allied with the Iranian militias there, that's fallen apart. So it's actually put us, it may look on the surface, rhetorically, like we really punched him in the nose, but at the end of the day, we've lost a lot of ground and potential goodwill in the region.
Cut the head off a worm. It may grow a new one, ADM, but it doesn't move as fast when you cut its head off. Soleimani is gone, bad guy. Iran knows that the United States isn't a joke, and we're better positioned.
Yeah, but military power, Chris, untethered from attainable, realistic, and sustainable political goals. I give you Iraq and Afghanistan. A preponderance of power weighted in our favor. And after 17, 18 years of conflict, the standard for victory was never can we win conventionally, but when could we leave and what would we leave behind? And Iran is a much, look, there are three functional, powerful states in this region today. They're the three non-Arabs. The Arab states are melting down: Iran, Turkey, and the Israelis. Iran is not 10 feet tall, but a formidable power. And now they've opened the file. We've opened the file against them. Bad actor. No tears shed for Soleimani. But the question is, where does this go? And can we even compete? And I don't think we're like some modern-day Gulliver wandering around in the part of the world where Trump would rather not be, tied up by tinier powers whose interests are not our own, and by the president's illusions. I just think it's not smart, and I think we're in for a very bad patch in the months and years ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what's helpful. You guys dealing with what the arguments are that are being put out there by the administration and its defenders so the audience can process the information through logical analysis. Nayyera, thank you. ADM, thank you as always. Appreciate it. All right?
Thank you, Chris.
All right. So